Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 51 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on my writing. So, yay for day 51. Sorry, I'm staring at the light behind me. I'm sitting in a different position, and it looks like weird little clouds on my ceiling. I'm very easily distracted. I see things differently. Maybe that's because I'm a writer. Maybe lots of people see things differently. I'm also very festive. I have my little bells and my little Christmas Winnie the Pooh Christmas shirt. I was doing Christmas today, which was fun. My my vision board friend came over and she helped me put up my Christmas decorations, and I'm like, yay! And then after she left, I was wondering what happened to my angels, and then I remembered I have a whole other box of stuff that I didn't get out and put up, so I'm gonna have to do that too. I just haven't got to it yet. And then my writing group met tonight, and because it's December, we did our Christmas party. So we did just kind of like a gift exchange and just kind of sat around and chatted with each other, talked about our goals for the upcoming year, what we want to do. So everyone shared kind of what they want to do. And of course, I just shared what I'm in the middle of doing right now. I would like to have at least one book published by the end of next year. I mean, I keep saying I want to get my book published by the end of this year, which is not happening. Might happen, might not, I don't know. Kind of getting there. But my mentor was there, and she's published her books in the past through publishing companies, and this is the first time she's done one like independent publishing. She said it took her a month to figure out how to do the independent publishing, and then the second one like took her like a week to figure it out. I was like, oh man. So I gotta, but she did mention like having a get together, like having a bunch of people get together and do like a lesson or something and learn how to like do the publishing part, doing all the formatting and everything to do the self-publishing version. So I'm like, I need that, but it may not happen until like January or something. So anyway, I did mention that's my goal, and I did tell him where I was at with my YouTube videos and things. And so a couple of the ladies, I was telling them about my poem that I did um, on Sunday, a couple of days ago, with my name, and they're like, "Oh, cool! We have to look up your videos now." And I was like, "Oh, great! More people that might be watching my videos." No, that's actually a good thing, and it was kind of fun to just be able to share and to kind of inspire, because they'd been thinking about. Well, my mentor had been thinking about doing videos, and she said she's done a few of them, but she has a hard time like letting herself post them, and she's always worried about the whole perfection and how her voice sounds and all of that. I was like, oh man, I don't even care. I just make the video and put it up there, because if I had to go back through and listen to myself on the video and edit it and make it all perfect, I would never post any videos. It would just not happen. At some point in the future, the very far distant future, I would like to do like 100 days of editing or something, just so I can actually learn how to like edit my videos and get to where I'm comfortable watching myself and making it look a little bit nicer. Maybe not necessarily adding music to the background, because I think that's distracting when people are talking, but where you add the little word things that pop up that describe whatever you're saying or talking about, or figuring out how to add like links and stuff to underneath, and all of those things, figuring out how to do thumbnails for all of my videos, because I think if I do thumbnails and put the words on it, it'll actually be easier for people to find. They'll pop up more in searches and stuff, so it will attract more attention. So I know those are all good things to do, but at the moment, I am not comfortable going back and doing that. I've talked about doing that. I've thought about doing that. I might do the thumbnail parts with my online marketing, or marketing when I do 100 days of marketing, when I'm done with 100 days of writing. But I'm not sure I'm going to do the editing part until way later. And that's not something I'm really interested in doing right now. It's something I've thought about. It's something that would probably be nice to do, because I could take out all of the ums that I say. I could take out all the stuff that I repeat, or I could be like, okay, this is just a dumb video and I'm going to start over with something completely different. But until then, you just kind of get the raw whatever comes out of my mouth and be like, all right, this is Midge Shoemaker. She's a little bit crazy. She's a little bit repetitious. This is, whatever. But you could also kind of see the changes, the growth, the things that I've learned as I've done all of these videos. And I was telling my friends at my writing group, one of them was like, oh, that's so cool, because my mentor was talking about doing little lessons and things, and she was talking about watching like the 10 to 15 minute things, and if they're longer than that, she doesn't like watching them. And I'm like, you know what, I know some people don't have the attention span, some people won't watch them. And some people say that YouTube wants you to have longer videos because they're trying to turn it into more like TV shows to have people binge watch your stuff. So it kind of goes both ways as to how long they should be. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to those things. I'm kind of my own individual crazy person. I kind of, dance to the beat of my own drum or something. I don't know how that saying goes, but I'm I'm doing this because I feel like it's what I'm supposed to do, because it helps me stay motivated and on track with my writing. Because I started it with the gratitude things, because I felt like that's what God wanted me to do and to share. And I'm doing it as a way to try to promote my books and my writing. But I also realized that I'm doing a lot of learning about myself, about a lot of the stuff that I've been through, a lot of the stuff that I'm letting go of, like past stuff and things like that. So just a lot of learning and growth, and then realizing that other people are out there that are struggling with similar things, that have depression, that have anxiety, that have panic attacks, that have all the issues that I have, the self-esteem, all of those things. And I'm hoping that those people can be reached through these videos, or that I can reach them through these videos, I guess, in a little way, just so they know that they're not alone. And to see, just, I guess to me, I figure if you can see the progress that I'm making by doing these things, that it would encourage you to make changes and do things in your life, to know that it's possible. It's not always easy, but it's possible. So that's a good thing. And it's also just a process, just a very long, drawn out process that I keep wanting to skip. And it really doesn't work for skipping the process. I think I was thinking about that the other day, about skipping the process. And I can't remember what I was thinking. I had this like perfect little analogy that I can't skip from, A to Z like I want to. I have to do all the things in between, because it doesn't work. I mean, you can't go from 1 + 1 to division. You have to learn how to do subtraction and stuff first, and multiplication, and then division. It's like you learn how to add, then you learn how to subtract, then you learn how to times, and then divide, and then you learn like algebra and all that other crazy stuff. You have to build up to it. You can't just jump into it. And I always feel like I'm supposed to just jump into it and know how to do it without all of the building up to it. Oh, that's what it was. I remember. Like, jobs always give you like that, what is it, like 3 to 6 month probation period, because they give you like 3 months to learn how to do the job, and then 3 months to see how you're actually going to do it on your own, kind of a thing, because it takes that much time to learn how to do something. So it's crazy for me to think that I can just change something overnight, or that things are just going to work, instantaneously. I'm just going to wake up and do something differently. It doesn't work like that. But as you can see in these videos, some of the things that I've struggled with, I'm doing better at. I think my confidence has grown a little bit, and I can talk to the camera a little bit more. But I still get a little bit nervous sometimes, and I still struggle with doing my schedule, and I still struggle with, like, I don't do my videos at the same time of day. But I'm still learning, and I'm still doing, which I'm grateful for. And I can keep talking about things that I'm grateful for. And I'm learning how to let go, and letting go of the illusion of being in control, and trusting that God will take care of everything, and realizing that when I'm stressing about stuff, I'm stressing about work or bills or all of those things, or even getting my books published, that I kind of, I stress, and then my anxiety gets higher, and then it gets harder for me to function. It gets harder for me to focus on things, because I'm so hyper focused on stuff that I don't actually have control over, because I don't know exactly when my book's going to be published. I am dependent on other people at this point, because I need help. I also need reviews from other people, because I know my book isn't good enough to I could publish it as is, but it wouldn't be edited, and there would be a lot of mistakes because of that. And then I would have to constantly keep doing revisions, and there would be like multiple versions of my book out there. And I had too much family growing up that was always very critical of people and of writing, or that would read books and they would actually point out mistakes that people made, like, and this went through an editor, and this went through a publishing company, and they missed this. And I'm like, it was a comma, it was an apostrophe. I'm like, it really, I didn't even notice. But those are things that bother some people in my family, that bother other people, I'm sure. But those are things that I hope don't end up in my book. It doesn't mean that they won't, because they're not things that I will catch. And so if the people that I are helping me don't catch them either, they're still going to end up in my book. And I apologize. I don't have any control over that. But I'm also learning that things have to be written and rewritten, and that sometimes I have to let go of things that I think are really good. So tonight I did choose to work on recognizing God's hand in my life, and I reread a section I'd already done. I don't know why I chose to do that. I was just feeling like I should just kind of reread what I did. I didn't go all the way back to the beginning and reread, but the last time I worked on it, I added that little story to the section of being ignored. And then the next section just happens to be like shunned at church, I think is what I titled the next section. So I chose to just go back through and reread that section, because I don't know what I have for the last several sections. I know I started another section that I didn't finish, and I know I have a whole bunch of stories and thoughts, but they still just feel very jumbled. And I've noticed that I have a tendency to, or I've had a tendency at this point, to just take sentences and paragraphs and I just move them to the end of the book in case I decide I want to keep them or use them again. And so I did that with this section. There was something and I took it out and I moved it to the end. And then I ended up typing up a story that was already in the section, but I put it in a different place in the section, I guess. I don't know. Or I started typing up the beginning of it and then I just kind of went from there. So I made more changes than I needed to. And then when I read through to the bottom, I was like, oh, I put this up in the middle instead of at the bottom of the story. And I actually liked what I'd written previously and not what I wrote tonight. So then I had to go back and take out what I wrote tonight. Well, I didn't take out everything I wrote tonight, but I just, it was just one paragraph, like 2 or 3 lines. And I just liked the way that I phrased it for the other one. So I had to move it. I didn't have to, but I chose to move it up to where the other one was and delete what I put tonight. And then when I got to the end of the section, there was the paragraph, like 2 or 3 sentences that I had moved to the bottom of the section and saved it so I could use it somewhere else. And I read that. I was like, nah, that section's good without it. I don't even need it. I could have just totally deleted it. But I didn't want to delete it in case I could use it. And I was talking to my friend earlier today, and I was telling her about my grandma, and I love my grandma, but she was a pack rat. She kept everything, and she would not let go of anything, and she would freak out if anybody would try to throw things away. So my aunts and uncles would wait until she wasn't around, and they would throw stuff away. And then when they moved her out of her house into a nursing home, they told her they were putting her stuff in storage, and they took it to the dump because they didn't want to have to go through all of it. And she had kept everything, like her entire adult life, like everything. And then when I think she realized that they were like getting rid of her stuff, she started like giving it away to like all of the grandkids, like, oh, here, do you want this stuff? Do you want this stuff? So that the, her kids wouldn't throw it away. So I got a bunch of her stuff. And I appreciate some of it, and it made me appreciate, really, I have a cat that she gave me years ago, and I thought it was kind of odd, and I didn't appreciate it at the time. Because she knows I like cats, but I'm allergic to cats, so she gave me like a porcelain cat. But it had all these little cracks and lines in it because she glued it back together. And today it occurred to me that she had painstakingly taken the time to go back through and glue it together like it was a jigsaw puzzle type of thing that she had to glue back together to make it look like a cat again. Which, shows that she actually cared about it. And then she chose to give it to me so that it wouldn't get thrown away, because it was something that was of value to her and it was worth saving for whatever reason. I don't know, but it made me appreciate it differently. It gave me a different perspective of my grandmother and what she did and why she kept things, and it was kind of nice. But I'm also recognizing that I inherited the pack rat thing, and I don't need to keep all of my stuff. It's not necessarily good for me to keep everything, especially in writing, as much as I would like to. I don't like the phrase my mentor uses, but it's real. She called it, you have to kill your darlings. I don't really like that phrase, but it is true that sometimes you write something that you really like, but it just doesn't flow with the rest of the book. So you have to be like, okay, I really like this, but I don't need it, or it just doesn't work here. So you have to take it out. And of course, you can always save it somewhere else and use it for something else. Or you could just be like, okay, you know what? It served its purpose. I wrote it. It was nice. And now it's gone because I don't need it. I don't need to keep every single thing I ever wrote. I don't need to keep every single thing that ever happened to me. I don't need to keep. That was the other thing when in writing that section on being shunned at church. It was kind of, the end was kind of like a letting go thing, a way to forgive and forget, to just let it go and move on, because holding on to all of that stuff is very heavy, and it weighs me down, and I don't need to hold on to all of the emotional stuff from my past. I don't need to hold on to all of my old bad habits. I don't need to hold on to all the games in my phone. I don't need to, it's that part where it's like, I want to change, but in order to change, I have to let go of all of the other stuff, and not all of it, and not all at once. But I have to find the balance, and in finding the balance, I have to reduce some things or remove some things, and I have to change some things. But in the process, it gets better. Just like writing a book, in the process, it gets better. So as I go back through and I reread it and I look at what I've done, I can learn from it. I can make it just a little bit better. I can take suggestions from other people, and I can go back through and revise it again and make it just that much better. And it gets better with the help of other people. It gets better with God's help. It gets better with friends' help. And just like life, going through life and struggles and changes, everything is better when you have people that are willing to help you through it. But I have to be willing to ask for the help. I have to be willing to accept the help. And then I have to remember to be grateful for the help, and be grateful for the outcome, and grateful for the gifts that other people have that they're willing to share, because it, amplifies mine. And I hope in some way that my gifts that I'm trying to share can actually amplify or help other people, which is, part of the reason why I do these videos, and why I'm choosing to write my story and to hopefully eventually share my story. So that's just kind of what I was working on today for my writing. And it's always interesting to me to see how my writing parallels my real life. And granted, recognizing God's hand in my life, I am writing about my real life. But my fantasy books also have a tendency to parallel, or I can learn lessons that I was like, I wrote that? Dang, I need that. That's a really good thing to remember. So I know I've had those aha moments too, and I'm grateful that I get to share these in these videos, and that I can learn from myself. I can learn from my writing, and I can learn from other people. And I'm grateful that all of this has given me more of an open mind, because I know when I first thought about writing, when I first started writing, I really struggled. I was trying to be a people pleaser. I wanted to write everything the way other people wanted it to be written. And then I wasn't happy with it because it wasn't mine, or because I didn't know what I was doing. So I was constantly rewriting things and just getting frustrated and feeling like I can't do it. And I just don't have the ability to do this. So I would just give up entirely. But then I couldn't stop thinking about the stories or the ideas. So it's like, okay, I got to write them again, start over. So I was just really grateful that I met Betsy Love at one of those self-reliance classes that I took through my church, and just grateful that she's been willing to help me with my writing. And then of course grateful for my friends and other people and their feedback, and that I can go back through and look and see and make changes. And it's helped me, I think, to be a better writer and to be a better person, instead of thinking like it's my way or the highway, which is kind of like how I was always treated, or feeling like I have to always be the people pleaser and change it to meet everybody's expectations. I'm like, I can't ever please everybody, but I can take suggestions, and I can decide what to change and what not to change. And sometimes I look at things and I'm like, oh, that's cool, I'm going to leave it the way it is. Or, oh, that's a really good suggestion, I didn't think about that. Or that's a really good question or insight, let me figure out how to answer that in my book somehow. So I think it's helped me to become a better person, a better writer. And I'm really grateful I did my gratitudes first, because I think it helped me to have a positive perspective. And instead of looking at criticism as, and not necessarily criticism, I don't like that word, but looking at suggestions that people would give me, instead of taking the suggestion as a criticism or as something wrong with myself and I have to change who I am, I can look at it as, oh, that's something that I can improve on, or, oh, that's something I missed and this is how I can fix it. Because it's a learning process. Everything in life is a learning process. Just like when you start a new job, they give you all that time to figure it out, the job, and then they give you even more time. It's like, okay, you got 3 months to learn the job. You got 3 months to figure out, if this is a good fit for you, a good fit for us. And anytime during that 6-month probation period, we can fire you or you can leave. And sometimes that happens because it doesn't work out. But I'm grateful for those insights that God pops into my head and says, hey, remember this, remember that. And it's like, oh yeah, this will work. Oh yeah, okay, I understand now, because I don't always understand, or I always try to skip steps. and I can do that a little bit in my writing, where I just skip steps and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this chapter or this chapter. And I've done that a few times, but then it's like I have to go back. And then it's like, how do I connect it? Which is what I'm trying to do with this one book. And then it just gets more complicated because I have too many pieces of the story in too many different places. And it's just easier and it flows better if I just do it from start to finish, and instead of randomly doing different chapters and sections and then trying to put them all together. So I realize I make things more complicated for myself than they have to be. So I think it was good tonight to just kind of go back and review just that section, and then I could just go to the next section and write, review, whatever that is in the next section. And then I may need to just start deleting things instead of just moving them to the end of the book, because at some point it's all going to either be in the book or it's all going to be like, okay, I don't know where that story fits, or maybe it just doesn't fit in this particular book. So it gets to be deleted. So I need to be able to be willing to let go. And that includes letting go of the past, letting go of old emotions, but it also includes letting go of stuff that I've written, old stuff, new stuff, whatever stuff that just doesn't fit or doesn't work. It doesn't mean that it's bad stuff. It just means that it doesn't fit. So it can either be moved somewhere where it does, or it can be removed because it's not working. It's no longer serving a purpose, which is something I learned in my 12-step program. A lot of times when we do the steps on character defects and stuff, sometimes you realize that they're either distorted or, taken to the extreme. So like it's a positive character trait that's just gone to the extreme and it needs to be brought back into balance in order for it to be good again. Or it's something that was of value to survive abuse or childhood trauma or whatever it was, but now it's no longer necessary as an adult and it just gets in the way. So it's time to let it go because it served its purpose. It was nice, but now it doesn't work anymore. So I'm grateful I've learned that. But it's interesting to me because I have all of the ideas in my head and I can repeat to other people, give them the best advice in the world. And I'm like, I just never take my own advice. And so doing this process is helping me to start to internalize a lot of those things that I already knew, but not only just internalize it, but to figure out how to apply it in my life and how to start making those changes and hopefully making them a little bit more permanent this time around instead of just going through the motions, because I'm very good at just going through the motions and not following through with things, or at least that was my MO in the past, and I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to remedy that, and it doesn't always work, but I think it is working a little bit. And I noticed that in my attitude yesterday, because I know yesterday I just kind of had a grumpy attitude, but I talked to some people and I went to work and I worked through it and I ended up feeling a lot better when I went to bed. And today, like yesterday, I didn't even have a bad day really. I just woke up in a grumpy mood, which I don't know why I did that, but I did. Anyway, I'm so random, but I indulged my grumpy mood, which just made it worse. And today I guess I learned really quickly, not really quickly, but I think I've learned over time, and it started to kick in today because I had a couple different opportunities where I could be really annoyed and really ticked off, and I thought about it. I really did. And then instead of just fuming in my head, instead of lashing out at people that wasn't going to do any good and wasn't going to change the situation, I got up and did things, and it was nice actually, because it gave me something to do with all of that energy, so to speak. It was, frustration and all of that. You were just builds up all of that anxiety, whatever. It's like, I don't need that in my system. So getting up and doing something physical, getting away from the situation, moving things around, it actually like helped me to feel better, to feel motivated. And I feel like I got a lot of things accomplished today, which I was not even trying to do, was not even planning on doing, because I just wanted to sleep all day today. Because I didn't sleep much last night, and I thought, I'm just gonna sleep today. And I didn't sleep. Instead, I worked. I worked because I couldn't sleep, and rather than being frustrated and being irritated and being grumpy like I was yesterday, and having to fight that, today I said, okay, screw it, I'm just gonna get up and do stuff. And it actually helped me, because when I got up and did stuff yesterday, I felt better. And so today I just got up and did stuff, and I was just so grateful that I was able to make that choice and make that change. And I moved my table tonight, and I keep randomly hearing an echo when I'm talking into this video, so I hope it's not echoing in the video, and I might have to find a different place to do my video tomorrow, because I don't want it to be echoing. But I am grateful I got to move some things around, and I got my Christmas stuff up, and I got to go to a Christmas party, and I got to work on my writing and read through a section that talked about, it was stuff I didn't like going through at the time, but it taught me a lot of things, helped to strengthen my testimony, helped me to understand forgiveness and allowing people the opportunity to change, myself as well as others. And also, learning in my book that I have to let go of some of my writing. I have to let go of some things that don't work. Even if they sound good, they look good, they don't necessarily work. Or sometimes I come up with something better, like I wrote something better previously that I actually liked better than what I wrote tonight, and I was like, oh, that's good, I'm gonna keep the old stuff and let go of the new one. And sometimes it's the other way around, I like the new stuff and get rid of the old stuff. It just depends on what I'm inspired to do. And I don't know how many times it's going to take to revise my book before it actually gets published, but I'm grateful that I can learn and get better at it. And hopefully the better I get at it with these first few books that I'm doing, it will be easier with the next few books, because I will learn from them, so I won't make all the same mistakes, I hope. But I have a tendency to just repeat the mistakes until, I don't know when. I think that there's always a different layer, another layer of something to learn. So it's like, I think I've learned that lesson, and it comes back up again, and then there's like a deeper meaning to it, or something that I missed the first time around, and then it comes around again. And I'm like, what did I miss this time? And I don't always look at it that way. I look at it as like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong this time? Like, why is this happening to me again? So I'm grateful that I can start looking at it as a different way, as to how can I learn from this, or what do I need to learn from this, or what can I do differently this time, and trying not to stress about things, and trying not to get angry and frustrated at things I have no control over, and then like, okay, I can't do anything about this, so what can I do? And I did that today. I don't always do that, but it really helped me to stay in the moment. It helped me to stay positive, and I actually feel really good about all the stuff that I got done today. And I didn't think I was going to get much of anything done today, so I'm really grateful for that. And I did spend like an hour, I think, working on recognizing God's hand in my life, so that's probably the most I've done in a long time too. So I'm really grateful for that as well, because I actually got through the entire section, not just half of it or just a couple of paragraphs, so that was good. I don't know how many sections I have left, because they're all, like I said, they're out of order, they're not numbered, they're just, I think it's 4 or 5, but I don't know, because I think I counted and I'm up to 14, but it might not end up being 14. I may end up deleting, because I think it was originally 13. I think now it's 14. But I don't think the last 2 sections even, I think they're just like section headings. They're not actually have content in them. So, or they have all of the content that I moved to the bottom of the book that I don't know if I'm going to even use. So I have 9 sections that are completed. I have them listed right now as chapters, but I'm going to take them out because I really don't want them to be chapters. I just want to do like section headings and just be like, this is this and this is this. But I'm doing the chapters right now just so I have the numbers to keep track of where I'm at. So I did 9, and I know I started 10. I don't know if I finished 10 before, so I can go through 10 or whatever tomorrow or another day, whenever I feel like I need to do that one. I hope tomorrow, because I would like to actually finish it, preferably before the end of my 100 days. I'd like to finish it, in the next week or two, because it's not like it's that hard and it's like not like there's that much there. But apparently my moods go up and down on a daily basis, and some days I'm like, yes, I'm all gung-ho and ready to do this, and other days I'm like, I'm not even getting out of bed. And I don't know if it's the weather, I don't know if it's just the old stuff that's coming up, I don't know if it's just because I didn't sleep well, because I got woken up, I don't know. I don't understand my emotions. I also am very good at not dealing with my emotions or facing them when they come up. So, which yesterday gave me an opportunity to do that, which I didn't particularly like, but in doing that, I think it helped me to have a better mood today and to realize that I can make different choices when I feel that way. So I made different choices today and I feel better. So I do like that. I do like that. So I'm learning very slowly. I'm a very slow learner. Um, Actually, I just do things very slowly. I don't know if I'm a slow learner, but I do things very slowly. I do things at my own pace. I do things differently than other people, and I don't feel like I have to follow the crowd or fit in or be normal, because I'm just not. I'm done trying to be all of that because it just doesn't work for me. So I'm just gonna do whatever length of videos I need to do to express what I'm feeling or express what I'm going through. And I'm grateful that I can do these videos, and I hope that they're helpful to anybody that's watching them. So if you like, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they will like them. And like I said, I hope this process is helpful. And I was telling the people at my group that I don't do the lesson thing. I just talk about all of my emotional process that I'm going through while I'm trying to meet all of these goals. And they're like, oh, that sounds really good. I'm gonna have to start watching your videos. So we'll see if they watch them or not. They might just be too long and time consuming, and not everybody has time, and that's okay too. That's not why I do it, and I'm grateful that I can do it, and hopefully it will reach other people, and maybe it won't be for another year or two or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I just feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and this helps me stay accountable to myself, which is a good thing, because I think I've struggled over the years trying to figure out how to keep myself accountable, to follow through on my goals and my commitments that I make to myself, because it's always easier for me to do it for other people and not for myself. So this is kind of a fun way, because I feel like I'm responsible to other people to keep my commitments, because I'm doing it in a video format. And even though there's not very many people watching, I still feel like I have to do it. So it makes me follow through on the commitments, even though it's commitments I made to myself, but it's commitments that I know other people are watching me make. And so it's good, because it keeps me motivated. And I'm grateful for this form of motivation. I think God knew that this is what I needed. So I'm grateful we have the technology. I can do this, because otherwise I probably would still be struggling with my book writing. So yes, and now I'm rambling, so I need to stop and go to bed. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe do some writing.